So I got a question for you guys. Right now, when you clicked on the good old Friday episode from the Average Money Podcast, are you guys driving into work miserable right now? It's Friday morning. Got to go to work, deal with the boss. Or are you driving home from work? It's about to be happy hour. Crack open a cold one. Make you and the wife a nice little cocktail. It's Friday, guys. Let's party.
Either one. Who cares?
Let's go, baby. Welcome to the Average Money Podcast, guys. This is a Friday episode where we listen to your all's voicemails. You, the listeners, you get to come on live, and we give you our thoughts and opinions on whatever your question's about. If you guys are interested in leaving us a voicemail, we have a link down below in the show notes where you guys can, again, leave us a question on whatever financial question, lifestyle question that you guys have. We got a good one today. And again, if you guys are new here, this is the Average Money Podcast. I am joined every week by my good friend, Brad. How you doing, buddy?
I think you should open every Friday now with a question for the listeners.
You're making me sound too good, bud. Let's be honest.
If every week there's guys, I got a question for you. Because that was great. Look at you, like, going outside your comfort zone with the intro.
I don't mess around. Bud.
Great voicemail tonight, bud. Great voicemail, and
Let's be honest, Brad. You told me to say that. I got it. The listeners know I ain't that damn creative.
I just gave
the one with has the good voicemails out of or the good intros out of both of us. Let's be real.
I made it a great line. You made it a great song.
I'll take that. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, we do have a good voicemail tonight.
I love talking retirement accounts, mostly because I'm a boomer and I'm feeling like I'm pretty close. But I mean, I'm obsessed with delayed gratification. And I'm obsessed with math and compound interest, and I'm obsessed with hopefully living as long to see all of these. We're planting all these trees. We're planting all these trees, and I can't wait to live in this little forest. I can't wait.
Yeah, man. It's something like, you know, when you talk to our friends and, you know, when everyone's around the bar in the backyard with the kids or whatever, like, no one's bringing up retirement. Like, no one's talking about it. So it is cool to have this kind of platform and community of like-minded individuals who, a lot of us are just average, regular people who are trying to do above average things with money. And one of those things is trying to get ahead for retirement so we can live that, you know, a little bit of an extra extravagant life once our good years get here.
Why do you think people don't talk about retirement accounts and stuff? I can see why people don't talk about salaries and how much do you make and how much debt do you have, because that's like directed like right at you personally. Like, you don't want to admit you're in a ton of debt and you really are effed over, and you don't really want to tell people how much money you make. But retirement accounts and like what you're doing to plan for retirement, why is it that we have to hear from it on like a stupid commercial from an insurance company that's now trying to, like, you know, oh, you got your insurance agent's going to come to your wedding? That's a cute commercial. Like, that's going to effing happen. I always wondered that. I know why people don't talk salary. Why don't you think people don't talk it? Do you think it's the unknown? You think people
I was just about to say, man, fear of the unknown.
People are afraid to sound stupid?
Yep. Or they just don't know they don't know how to talk about it, which there's nothing, that's not a wrong thing because we're not taught about it. The only reason you and I know about it is because we're money nerds, you know, and probably more than half the people listening to this podcast are money nerds as well, who just are probably in a time span of life where you and I were, you know, years back when we're trying to figure out.
If I was out by you visiting you and your friends, I wouldn't start talking about side-by-sides.
Yeah, because you don't know much about them.
I would sound stupid.
And
you guys talk side-by-sides? I'm like, yeah. Oh, yep, I got the one with 4 wheels on it as well.
Oh, exactly. Like when I come down this Friday again, we go to Dubco. I'm not going to be talking about how to brew beer with those boys.
You're going to be like, oh, I could smell the hops.
Yeah, I can. This tastes kind of sour. Like I don't know how to do that.
Is there lactobacillus in this fermentation process?
Can't even pronounce it. So, oh man. But again, no, Bradford, we got a good voicemail today. You wanna
you can tell that we're on the way home and we're getting ready for happy hour.
That's right. That's right,
this.
baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
It is nighttime when we are recording this. Even though I really don't have a beer in my hand,
I know.
I'm saving it up for this Friday, man.
Every day's a Friday if you live your life right, JJ.
That is very true, and every day does feel like a Friday to me. I'm very blessed to feel that way, because I remember the days when it didn't feel like that. Dude, I'll tell you this. I remember the days when it was Saturday, and I couldn't even enjoy my Saturday because I was thinking about going into work on Monday, no lie. It was stressful, man. Very, very stressful. But when you work hard and put in the work, you can enjoy the days and have every day be a Friday.
And take some risks.
That's right, man. So true. Let's get into this voicemail.
Hell yeah, bro.
Hey, Brad and JJ. Dave here. Just got a quick question about a 457. A little backstory on me. I am a police officer, and a single income. My wife staying home with the children. I have 3 children. So right now I do have a Roth IRA and I have a 457. I'm not contributing too much to the 457, $25 a month right now, just to have the account open and keep contributing. I'm not able to max out my Roth IRA due to my expenses and stuff, but I think I'm going to be close to being able to do that on a monthly basis, that $500 a month, to be able to max it out by the end of the year. So my question is, should I be contributing more to my 457 than my Roth IRA? The big kicker here is, I believe it was a few weeks ago, you were talking about 457s, and you said if they're with an insurance company, run for the hills. Unfortunately, this is with an insurance company, and there's no other option with my employer with a 457. I do have another retirement account with them. I'm in Virginia, so this is a VRS system, which is automatically I have to contribute to, and I can't contribute more to that pension plan. So that was my question. 457, Roth IRA, which one should I be contributing more to? Thank you.
JJ, I'm going to take this one for the start. First off, God bless you, sir. Not only for the work you do, but the fact that you have 3 kids. I've never wanted to run so fast to surgery after my second. So
same here. And I want to tell Dave too, thanks for his service. Really do appreciate it.
Oh yeah, but I'm not trying to do the job you do, man. Thank you for protecting me and keeping me safe. As far as the 457, I think I can pretty much give my opinion very quick. This is pretty cut and dry for me. And if you follow my channel or if you've been listening for a bit, I think you kind of know what I'm going to say. I love the Roth IRA. It's my number one. It's the thing that I believe in most. I like the control of it. I like the liquidity of it, meaning you could take your contributions if you need to. I like the pass down when you expire. I like how it treats your beneficiaries. I like the fact that it's a manageable amount of money at $6,000 right now, where, if you don't max it, that's not a big deal, but it's very attainable with a couple years of going up a little at a time. And even though it doesn't seem like it's the most amount of money, as someone that's been maxing theirs out for a couple years now, you really start to see that money grow and grow quickly. And then the other most beautiful thing about the Roth IRA is back to that control. You get to pick exactly who you want it with. You get to choose pretty much any investment under the sun to put into it. And if you decide later you don't like that particular choice you made, you can have Roth IRAs with many different brokerages. As far as the 457, I like that you're at least putting a little bit in. Like a little bit's better than nothing. There's something to be said for tax deferment. Like I said, it's not hurting you. Like you're putting it into the 457 and you're getting that money back in taxes, and that money you're saving in taxes is part of the money you're putting into your Roth IRA. So whether you're deferring the money you save in taxes into your Roth IRA, or you're just taking that small amount of money that you're putting into 457 and put that into the Roth IRA, that's one half dozen or the other. If you were asking me which one you start increasing more of first, 100% it's going to be the Roth IRA. The 457 also too comes with, like you said, the fees and things like that. So it might not be worth it for you strategically. Like you can come out, and usually I wouldn't say this to most people, you can kind of skip over the 457 and go right into your taxable brokerage accounts and things like that, because you do have that pension plan to fall back on. So you have almost that pension plan that's working side by side with the 457. So if the pension plan is going to be there, and it's probably going to be small potatoes, like we don't really factor that in. We kind of think of it as more of like the cherry on top. When you get it, like when your pension starts to come to you, I want you to be like, oh man, look at this. This is dope. Look at this extra. I forgot I had a pension. That's kind of what I want. And that starts with the Roth IRA. And if you get to the Roth IRA and you're maxing it out, then yeah, probably the next thing I would do if I was getting somewhat good fees and somewhat good administrative fees and things like that, yeah, I'd throw some money in there, even just to defer your taxes. You're a single income household, so you're probably not getting kicked in the face that bad with taxes. Who knows what will happen in the future? But yeah, I think you get what I'm saying, man. The Roth is going to be first, in my opinion. If you're going to start to reallocate other places, depending on your fees, it's tough to know. that situation, if you're in any of our Discords, you can always hop in there and kind of like feel out people and see what they're getting. I try and tell people at like 0.6%, you should start to really look at other options or dive deep and see if it's really worth your time. And yeah, that pension's going to be great for you, and it's going to be a great cherry on top after you've done all the things right that you're starting to do even at this age. And with kids and stuff, that Roth IRA, if something were to happen to you, and that's going to get passed down to them, and it's going to be good stuff passed down to your spouse and everybody else. JJ, I know you don't know much about the 457, obviously, because you're never in the position to get one, but you know enough from hearing me talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
But I think you feel the same when it comes priority-wise with the Roth IRA.
Yeah. So, well, I got a question for you, though, and you kind of answered it already, but so with it being... And again, this is a question coming from a guy who doesn't really fully understand 457s. With it being with an insurance company, like you said, should he even be putting which again, this isn't financial advice, but this is me being curious. If it was you, would you even put the $25 in there? Again, we don't know the fees associated with it and everything. I mean,
gut instinct, I want to say no, but then again, I would be lying and ignorant if I said that there's no such thing as an insurance company that has their ish together. I'm speaking in general terms when I advise people like, hey, if you have the option of insurance company versus financial institution, I think one definitely holds more water. But I'm speaking in general when you've heard me say that, like, yeah, insurance companies, they tend not to have your best interest at heart. But I'm not going to like debate and say if someone was like, no, I have this with that, and they're primarily an insurance company, I would never call them a liar.
Got it. Okay, good point. I want to add something here. I wasn't really going to talk much on this voicemail because this was more of I think a Brad show for today's, to be honest. But we've been talking a lot about retirement lately, and there's something we haven't really said much about retirement, man, to be honest. We bring it up in like our five podcast, but we don't really talk about it much when the 401ks and Roth IRAs and brokerage accounts and all that stuff get brought up. But a lot of people should be thinking about real estate, man. A lot of people should be thinking about real estate. And I know people are saying like, well, I don't want to deal with tenants, or I don't want to deal with the time or the hassle or whatever. But that is such a good extra source of income for retirement, and you can set it up to where you don't have to have it as a concern. Hire a property manager, figure that in your numbers, and maybe that's actually a good episode. We need to have an episode talking about like our real estate stuff and all that. But what do you think about that, Brad? You kind of have like a puzzled look on your face there.
I want to play devil's advocate a little bit and say that I know why it's not talked about as much. It's to someone that doesn't necessarily have like the drive to educate themselves on it or the time or whatnot. I'm speaking a little bit from experience.
Okay.
It's so intimidating. Like, I spent months and months on the Bigger Pockets forum, and I read all of their books. And at the end, I knew a bunch of stuff, but that whole like moment of inertia to get me moving, I feel like it's super, super intimidating. And I also am an anxious person, and I'm not good at like going out and going to those meetings and things like that, and getting your name out there. I'm not that type of person. And I'm not saying like everybody's like an introvert kind of, but I can see why more people don't talk about it as a primary. I'm glad that we do, because I want people to know that you should be thinking about it. But I kind of know why it's brushed under the rug. And then also too, I will say that in my experience living in the big cities that I've lived in, where a lot of things are corporate and a lot of things are astronomically priced, that it doesn't ever come up because you see the numbers for sales, and like the numbers just don't. It's kind of like trying to comprehend the speed of light. Like you can look at the math, but the numbers, it's hard to comprehend. Where I think if you live in a more rural, or if you live in a lower, cost of living state where prices of houses and duplexes and stuff seem attainable, I don't know. I just think it appeals more to someone where you're from than I think somewhere where I'm from.
Because of home prices.
because of home prices and just like more corporate businesses. There's more commercial real estate where I live than residential.
Well, if you go to St. Louis or Kansas City, I mean, there's no difference in, that's all commercial property and everything, but that's also not New York City. I get that, but no, I mean, here's
like
my thing.
Our suburbs have a radius of hundreds of miles.
Yeah.
You're 40 miles south, right? You're about 40 miles south of St. Louis. It gets pretty rural down there.
Yeah, it does, man. You've been here. No, I mean, that's solid.
Y'all
point.
trespassing?
They're here everywhere. That's a good point, but I would say this first, playing devil's advocate on this side, is one, I totally understand the hesitance, the nervousness of, the fear of the unknown, not knowing what to expect of buying your first deal. And that was me. And I tend to be more of the, I'm very conservative in my numbers. I think that's why I feel so good when I do take a risk like this, is because I'm prepared for the worst. That's kind of the engineer in me. You're always prepared for the worst when you design something. So I go into things like that knowing that no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. But with that being said, I also want to say that once I've gotten my first deal, dude, it's really it's over hyped. What's the word I'm looking for? It's overly thought about. It's overly, it's really not as bad. And I've been threatened of being sued already with my first deal by contractors. There's things that have happened, and really you just roll with the punches. I'm sure everyone out there has a job they got to do, right? You got a job you go into, you make, and everyone runs into troubles in their day job. Something stressful happens at work, at the office. You got to deal with it. You got to solve the problem. That's the same thing with real estate, now, and it really doesn't happen as often as everyone says, if you have a property manager, you don't have to worry about the tenant calling you at 3 a.m. But I have buddies who own a lot of real estate, and they hardly ever get phone calls at 2 or 3 a.m. Even we've had some people on here talk about how they turn off their phones, at nighttime, and they just have to deal with it. They wait till the next morning, and their tenants have to figure out a way to deal with it until they're on office hours. So, I mean, I don't want to go into too much detail.
We just hijacked David's
I know, we did, but we do need to
forget about your Roth IRA. We're talking real estate tonight, baby.
Yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt. But it's just something I wanted to bring up to let it be known to people that is something else to think about. I'm not saying everyone needs to go invest in real estate. It's not for everyone.
You're planting a seed.
Yeah, it's just something that if you've maybe thought about it or you never even thought about it before, and you're like, oh, maybe I need to look into it a little bit. Do it.
Yeah, so you're kind of saying even after that Roth maybe instead of going back to that 457, maybe start to save some liquid cash. You might have some time to save up some cash and, maybe buy yourself a little real estate property, a little investment property somewhere else.
Yep. And then if you pay it off in 15 years, 30 years, come retirement time, that's maybe a nice little $600, $700, $800, $900 in your pocket every single month that, could be a nice little added bonus on top of the Roth IRA and whatever else you got in your accounts by then.
Good stuff, JJ.
Yeah, guys. Hey, real quick, if you guys have a voicemail or, want to have your voice be heard here on the Average Money Podcast, click that link down below in the show notes. Brad and I love these episodes. We love hearing the listener's voice and seeing what kind of questions you guys have for us. I want to say this again, guys. If you are in the gym, if you're driving the car, if you're on the treadmill, whatever, nice walk on a nice Friday evening, or maybe you're listening on a Tuesday. Who knows? Brad and I really do appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to listen to the podcast. Really do appreciate it. If you guys could do one favor for us, it would be to leave us a review on the Apple Podcast. That really does help out the podcast. It helps us grow a little bit, helps us get our names out there a little more when we do get nice reviews left for us. Even if you just want to go click the stars, you don't even need to say anything. That really does help. But guys, again, thank you all so much for listening in today's episode. And until the next one, you guys take care.